they say is the dream, but the silence feels louder than it seems. Applications sent like ships in the dark. No replies, no spark, no start. You think it's a paper, just words on a page, but it's a system to break out the cage. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast.
You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope so you can do work that matters and earn what you and your family deserve. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C., a very snowy Washington, D.C. today. And you are here on this Tuesday where half the world is frozen, or at least half the United States is frozen. I really want to acknowledge you for being here. I know there's probably lots of other things you could be doing right now, and the fact that you're here really suggests to me that you're somebody that takes your career seriously. You're trying to get this handled. I put in the chat before we got on, I see you there, Mike and Lindsay. And Mike, hopefully you can hear us. Look, man, it's February, right? It's 2026. Well, it's almost February. Not quite, almost. But it's 2026. And like, let's get this job thing handled, right? Like, let's just get this handled. So if you would put in the chat where you're from, and I already see quite a few of you, put in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search. We've got a smaller but mighty crowd today because I think a lot of people are probably out trying to get out of the snow. But where are you from and how long have you been on the job search? Because I'd be curious to know. Because look, folks, sometimes being on a long job search can feel a lot like pounding sand. Right? Sometimes it can feel like you're waiting on a glacier. I see there Yalda and Michael, and I see there Yalda in San Diego and Lindsay in Oklahoma. Hi, Victor in Phoenix. Sometimes it can feel like wandering through the desert. Delandis in Atlanta and Asif in Scottsdale. Hi there, Michael, right in Fort Walton Beach. Carlo in Arizona. Been quite a while for you, Meme in Atlanta. Hi there, Peter in San Francisco. Sometimes it can feel like wandering into an arena. Hey there, Jason in Texas. Nice to see you here. Sometimes it can feel like looking into an abyss, or it's just not great, right? So who is this for? If you're unsure about the direction you want your career to go, if you've been struggling to find ways to describe what you do, hey there, Arnold in the Big Apple, Sala in the Garden State. If you're uncertain if your resume is any good, if you've been wrestling with how to follow up after you apply, if you're tired of applying and hearing nothing back, if you're doing interviews that seem to go great and then you get a big fat no, hopefully that's not you, Carl in Fort Lauderdale. If you're trapped in a job you don't like and you're just not sure how you can escape, and most of all, if you're losing hope, this is a workshop for you. On the other hand, if you're somebody who's just kind of super casual about your career, not really willing to do a lot of work, reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, really just interested in making some bucks, you're sort of stuck in your ways and sort of closed-minded about doing anything new because you know all the reasons you're not getting hired, right? Unwilling to be authentic. This may not be the workshop for you. Hey there, Ty in Florida. So what you're going to learn today, how to get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. I'm going to offer you 4 strategies and 9 tactics that you can put to work right away to elevate your job search and do work that matters, pays what you and your family deserve. Our agenda for today. Some of you are signed up for this workshop because you've had friends or family and you know what's going on, right? You saw how fast they've gotten hired and you're like, okay, I got to find out more about this program, right? So some of you know a little bit about me and a lot of you don't. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from. If you're like, who the hell is this guy? Hey there, Ty. I see you there, Orlando, right? Ty's in Orlando. I got you there, Ty. Again, 4 strategies, 9 tactics. And again, for those of you, especially who have signed up for this workshop because you know, like what we do, I want to invite you to book a coaching call with us. And we've got quite a few people out on my team. So don't wait to book a call. The only requirements to book a call if you want a complimentary coaching call because you attend this workshop are 1, you're not going to book a call and not show up, right? Sometimes people do this and they're like, I'm like, professionals like keep their word. They don't book things and then cancel. And sometimes if you're wondering why you're not getting a job, it's because you're booking stuff and canceling. Yeah, professionals don't do that. People don't want to hire people that book things and cancel. So don't do that. 2, you're going to be at least open to the idea of paying money, right? You want people to pay you money, be the change you seek. Right. And then 3rd, you're ready to get started. And if that's not you, that's totally fine. But we'll talk more about that here in a sec. We've got Jessa and Chris helping us today. Thanks, Jessa and Chris. Jessa just dropped the link to book a call in the chat. That's what the form looks like. And so if that's something you already know you want to do, you can do that now. And then we're going to have time for Q&A. All right, but let's get started here, folks. Who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job, right? So I'm kind of a weirdo. I grew up in Asia. Didn't come to the States till I was 18. Wound up transferring college 7 times, right? Here I am in a day that's sort of like today, wondering why it's so damn cold, right? Wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam. That was pretty cool. Spent about 10,000 hours underwater doing this with the fish. That was pretty good. But after doing that for a little bit, my brain got a little bit spongy and I thought, okay, I got to pull it together when it comes to this career stuff. So I thought, what would be the most prestigious job I could have? And I thought, well, that must be something like the White House. So I took out a piece of paper and wrote a letter to the president. I said, "Dear Mr. President, you should hire me." Put that in an envelope, mailed it. I figured, well, that's kind of funny. That was a fun way to spend a Tuesday afternoon. I'm never hearing back from those guys. But about a month later, I was going past the Guam post office. The guy came out and he's like, "Eric, you got a letter from the White House." And I opened it up and it was an internship application. Now, folks, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications. So I filled that out, sent it in. I'm like, I am never hearing back about that thing. Of course I didn't. That got me thinking, a little bit inspired. I applied to some grad schools, right? I got into GWU here in Washington, D.C., sort of landed with this big bushy haircut and was dumpster diving for furniture. Bought a pair of running shoes one day and was out running past the White House. And I thought, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What is up with that? So I found a payphone, put in a quarter, called them up. I said, hey, you White House bastards, what about that internship thing? And they're like, is this Eric from Guam? I'm like, yeah. They're like, man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You're supposed to start in the First Lady's office on Monday. I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I bought a pair of shoes, got a haircut, and I showed up. Now, folks, I know there's a lot of political craziness going on in our country right now, and I don't know if my politics match yours, so please forgive me if they don't, I guess. And this is going to tell you how old I am. This was back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss. Wound up as one of her interns, wound up on her staff, right? Was with her a lot of the Clinton administration, followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we did stuff for the great state of New York. And then I followed her to the State Department, where I did a bunch of stuff related to UNESCO. Eventually, I left Hillary Land and became director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution. And all during this time, I'd see people from all different industries, all different levels, right? Trying to figure out the working world, running into the same stuff. Because folks, if you didn't already know, and I suspect you don't need me to be the one to tell you, there's not a lot about finding a job that's very linear, logical, or fair. So about 6 years ago, I broke away from the Smithsonian, started my own coaching practice. Now I give a lot of talks, do a lot of coaching. I've written a bunch of books. I have an outrageous number of very impressive pieces of paper, right? Glowing testimonials. And you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? I don't know, probably, maybe. I helped about 900 million people find jobs. Let's see how we can help you today. So 4 strategies. Here we go, my friends. Buckle up. Make sure you're taking notes. You're going to want to. Here's my first question for you. What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please, because I like to give things away to people who get right answers. What's a good resume about? Let's see if anybody gets it right today. The past couple times I've done this workshop, nobody's gotten it right. What's a good resume about? Who wants to take a crack at it? I bet somebody knows what a good resume is about. Let's see. And there's always a little bit of a delay. Okay, so Michael says it's to get an interview, right? John says your mission. Lindsay says your skills. Lindsay in Oklahoma. Nope. These are all wrong answers. Asif says value proposition. Nope. Selling yourself, says Michael. Marketing yourself, says Enrique. Career progression, says Kaleem. Nope. Jorge said, hey there, Jorge. Nice to see you. Jorge says selling yourselves. Amanda says connection. Nope. Assad says getting, nope. These are all wrong. Nope. I'm going to give you guys a couple more seconds in case anybody gets it right. Samuel says delivering results, right? Target. Nope. These are all incorrect. Here's what a lot of you are saying. A lot of you are saying a good resume is about me. It's about my skills. It's about selling myself, right? It's about even maybe how I can help them, right? That's about your value, right? Says Saruba. I'm mispronouncing it. Passing the ATS, says me. Nope. These are all wrong, right? It's no. Guys, if you want to be influential with another person in the world, what's the first thing you're going to talk about? It's not you. You're going to want to talk about them. Guys, if you get nothing else out of this workshop today, please get this. A good resume isn't about you. A good resume is about them. And when I say resume, hey there, Asif, you're quick, man. You already booked a call. Nice job, Asif. Right? So Asif, you're going to show up. Don't book a call and then cancel. That hurts us. That hurts me on the inside, Asif. Don't do that. We know where you live. No, we don't know where you live. Okay? So you're going to want to make it about them. It's not about you. It's not about you at all. It's about the person or about your skills. You bet, Asif. Your cover letter, your follow-up, it's all about them. Okay, so this brings us to strategy number 1. It's not about you, it's about them. Let me tell you about my skills and experience. Let me tell you about all that. And you're not going to want to do any of that, right? What you're going to want to do instead is make it about them. Employers are focused on themselves. You can do likewise. Sorry, my slides are a little wonky here, right? You're going to want to make it about them. Okay, because that's what employers are thinking about. So the opportunity is for you to do the same. All right, guys, let's go on here. I got another question. Whoops, guys, I'm so sorry about that. So sorry about that. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Put in the chat if you can hear me. And so sorry, because we were just talking about resume stuff. Yeah, there we go. Can you guys hear me okay now? I hope. No audio. Okay. Hopefully. Yeah, I hit Reg. Okay, audio's good. Okay, guys, so sorry about that. Real things happen in the real world, guys. So we'll get back on track here. So sorry. That's only happened once before in the history of me doing this presentation, but it'll be okay. I appreciate you guys all stay with me because I can see how many people are on here. Like not very many people drop. That means I had your attention. Okay, guys. So we were talking about resumes, and now, okay, so hopefully you got that. A good resume is not about you, it's about them. Okay, now I got, thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate that. So sorry about that. Let's say I went to a public library and I looked at a shelf full of storybooks. Okay, and on the front cover of those storybooks, there's going to be some words. What do we call those words in English, right? I bet you know. What do we call those words in English, if you would? What do we call those words? Who's going to get it right? Amanda, I promise. We'll go back to everything. I promise there, Amanda. What do we call those words, right? If I went to a public library and I saw some words, there we go. Honor Arnold W. And you know what? Let's give it to JS. Arnold and Jay, right? Guys, we've got a free course that we want to give you. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. So let's make sure we give that to Arnold. And actually, you know what? I'm seeing a bunch of people that got this right. Okay, we're going to give it to a bunch of people. I see Carlo and Michael W. and Arnold and Jay. Let's give it to all four of those guys, right? Had this free course, How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. That's right. It's a title. Now, isn't it interesting that that's the same term we use to label people in the workplace, which tells me that just like we'll put a label on the story of someone's career, we'll do the same thing when we label like a storybook. Okay, which brings us to the idea of stories. I got another question for you here. What percent of human decision making do you think is emotional and what percent is logical? What do you figure the ratio is? Is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? What is the ratio when it comes to human decision making that we use emotion versus logic? Let's see if anybody else gets this right. Hey there, Lindsay, you're a former librarian. You know what's up, right? Like okay, so James says 70-30. Okay, Carlos says 80. Michael says 90. Nobody's got the right. Delonda says 70. Nope. Saruba says 60. I'm sorry. Jay says 80. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Assad says 70. Nope. When humans make decisions, what percent is emotional? What percent is logical? Gene says 80. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Nope. I'm going to give you guys a few more seconds because I want to give away some stuff. Victor says it's 99%. All right, guys, here's the deal. It's 100% emotional. And they're, oh, wait, Andres Lopez. Yeah, Andres and Tamika. Let's give it to Andres and Tamika. You guys both got it right answer. It's 100% emotional human decision making. Those people that walk up to you and say, we make data-driven decisions. No, they don't, because nobody does. Human decision making is 100% emotional. And the reason we know it's 100% emotional is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged, right? Their ability to do emotion, they're fine, except they can't make a single decision. That's the debilitating part, which brings us to the idea of stories. And the reason stories are so important is stories are how we convey emotion, right? When we make decisions, the original decision is completely emotional and it happens very quickly. Right. And then we later rationalize it with data. Like when you guys are on this call right now, you've already decided whether you like the color of my shirt, you like the theme song, you like my hair, right? I'm like, hey, Jennifer, you booked a call. Nice job, Jennifer. We look forward to talking to you. Guys, let's make sure we take care of Jennifer with the free LinkedIn course. Yeah, that's good. Right. Like how annoyed you are that the streaming stopped and you came back. Like you've already made decisions about all of this. And now you're just rationalizing it with like data. Okay, and the reason stories are so important is stories are how we convey emotion. Our ability to process data is like 40 bits a second. Our ability to process emotions like 20 million bits a second. It's orders and orders of magnitude greater. So if you're not already using story in your stuff, you're really leaving a lot on the table. Okay, you're going to want to use story in your job search. It's really, really, really important. So notice I'm about to tell a story. One time, I was taking applications for a program And this woman, her name was Maggie. She was great. She applied, and I was sort of looking at all the applications. I finally got to Maggie's, and Maggie explained how she wrote how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. Oh man, I was like, that's quite a story. So we accepted Maggie to the program. First day of the program, like I'm getting ready for Maggie. I'm getting ready for one-armed Maggie, thinking what accommodations we need to make. First day of the program, Maggie walks in, 2 arms. Now it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and they'd reattached it and she was doing some physical therapy. Maggie was going to be okay. Now, was I pissed off that Maggie had 2 arms? Of course not. I was so happy Maggie had both arms, and I remember how that felt to this day. And now you do too, because I just told you the story. This is the power of stories, guys. You're going to want to use stories. Hey, Philip S., you booked a call. Nice job, Philip, right? Good job, Philip. We're going to make sure we send you that free LinkedIn course. So, Philip, you're going to show up for that call, right? You're not going to book it and cancel. Don't do that, Philip. Makes me sad on the inside. Look forward to talking to you, Philip. We're going to get your job stuff handled. All right, guys, so here's another question for you. Who's this guy? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho, right? What's this character called, right? Who's this kid? He lives in Idaho. He's a friend to the llama. Who knows? Because I want to give away another one of these courses, guys. Hey there, Miyenye. I'm mispronouncing your name, buddy. So glad you booked a call. Let's take care of you. So it's not Superbad, Yalda. Who is this guy? Who knows what this guy's name is? I've never had. Oh, there you go. Jason. Jason Kuja. Good job, Jason. This is, yeah. It's Napoleon Dynamite. Now, for those of you who aren't, so let's make sure we take care of Jason with a free course, Chris and Jessa, please, right? So for those of you who are unfamiliar with this fine piece of cinema, that's right, Jason, vote for Pedro, you bet, right? This fine piece of cinema, I don't want to ruin it for you. And people, please go watch this movie. But put aside your job search for a second, go watch this film. Napoleon's a high school kid, and he sort of beats to his own drum. And in this particular scene, he's on stage, and he's in front of his entire school, the entire student body's watching him. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth, and now he's on the hook to do some kind of performance that he has not prepared for. So the music starts to play, and Napoleon's there, and what does he do? He proceeds to dance. He does the craziest dance you've ever seen. I mean, he metaphorically opens the kimono, and it is wild. And when he's done, he's sort of panting and sweaty, and all of his classmates are like this. They're kind of quiet, and then they burst into applause. And the reason it works is because it's so authentic, right? Jamie Kern-Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, says everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully, and she's right, which brings us to strategy number 3, which is authenticity. Let me ask you a question. Who do humans hire? I'll tell you, humans hire humans. Humans don't hire robots. Robots don't hire humans. And robots certainly don't hire robots. Now, I can hear you collectively thinking, Eric, what about the ATS? What about the algorithms we've all heard about? How's that working out for you? You have an ATS optimized resume. Hey, is that Johnson S. booked a call? Look forward to talking to you, Johnson. You're going to show up for that call, free coaching call. Good for you, Johnson. Humans hire humans. If you've been chasing your tail trying to trick a computer somewhere, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. And by the way, there's not one ATS system, one algorithm. They're all different. It's basically just a filing cabinet that organizations use to take in resumes and applications, and they're all different. And by the way, I don't know about you, but AI is getting pretty good. The idea that you're going to somehow game the system and trick that, nah. So the opportunity for you, my friends, in your job search in an increasingly automated world is to be more human, not less. We're going to talk more about this, and I know this could be a challenging idea for some of you. All right? Authenticity is your superpower. People are going to hire you because of who you are, not in spite of it. All right, guys, here we go. Let's talk about Abe Lincoln. Give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. And this brings us to the idea of systems. The results you're currently getting in your job search are perfectly attuned to your current systems. And for those of you who are like, but Eric, I don't have a system. Yeah, you do. For some of you, your system is I'm going to hide my age because some 20-something, or I'm going to only put the last 10 years or 15 years of my experience because some 20-something recruiter told me to. Some of you have a system called I'm going to put an executive summary at the top of my resume. That'll really show them. Or I'm actually going to put the title of the job I'm applying to at the top of my resume. They won't understand that. They'll just be confused and think that's my title. Some of you have a system called I'm going to worry about ATS. Some of you have a system called it's the economy. That's what's to blame. And I don't know whether those systems are good or bad, but I can make a guess about whether they're working. They're probably not working really great. The opportunity, my friends, if you're not getting Mike, don't worry, we'll repost a thing for that coaching call. Thanks for asking. Right? The opportunity, my friends, is that if you're not getting the results you want with the system you have, you're gonna want to change the system. Right? You're gonna, and so here's what I would offer to you. Right? For a lot of you, this is your current system, and I just send you so much love because you've got the sticky gear shift and the button, and you've done every permutation of settings, and you're wondering why you can't steer your job search to success. Hey, Elizabeth L., you booked a call. Look forward to talking to you, Elizabeth. Good job, Elizabeth. Like, you're wondering why you can't steer your job search to success. Here's the thing to realize. This is the system that's available. There's all sorts of buttons and dials and knobs that you don't even know about. Now, folks, I don't know what your exact setting is on this, but the way that we help clients is we have a pretty good idea of what your settings. Yeah, your daughter has that toy. That's awesome, Lindsay. Right? We have a pretty good idea of what your settings are going to be. And the opportunity for you, Carlo, nice job, Carlo. You booked a call. Good job. Look forward to talking to you, Carlo. The opportunity for you, right, is to realize that there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your system isn't giving you the results you want. So the opportunity is to change systems. Now, you can spend a lot of time and money, especially time, going from this system to this system, or you could just get some help and we could get this job thing handled like we have for so many. So guys, like I mentioned, I've got a program. It's called Get Hired Fast. It works. We just had somebody yesterday, right? Her name was Tanika. She got a new job right out of the blue, right? And I'll tell you a little bit more about it. It becomes a lot of one-on-one coaching with me, comes with a group program, comes with like a community. You think this free stuff is good? Wait till we're just scratching the surface here. Wait till you see the paid stuff. It's amazing. We make it really affordable. We got all kinds of payment plans. It's awesome. So if you want help going from this system to this system, don't do this on your own. Get some help. And we offer a program for all that. And I just want to show you that this works. I mean, I got a billion testimonials and stuff. Guys, we're going to play Angel here in a second. Angel was somebody that came to this workshop a little bit over a year ago. She didn't really know me, saw this workshop. She signed up, was worried about money, was worried about everything. And this was her result. Let's show them. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the job. Yay!
Whoa!
The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days, so I was able to do it. Yay!
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it, you did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would not have been possible without signing up for this program. Truly, I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Angel's doing great. I heard from her just the other day. She's doing great in her new job. That's right. All right, guys. So if you haven't already booked a call, I've noticed a couple of you have, right? A free coaching call. And the only requirement is you're not going to book and cancel. Like, professionals don't do that, right? If you're the kind of person that's going to book and cancel, I can't help you anyway. So don't do that. And then you're going to be at least open to the idea of investing in yourself, right? You want a company to pay you a lot of money. You're going to at least be willing to spend a little bit of money on yourself, and you're ready to get going. So if that's you and you're feeling stuck in your job search, let's talk, because we can get that sorted. Like Andres. Hi, Andres. I saw you earlier. You booked a call. Nice job, Andres. All right. Look for it. And guys, let's make sure we take care of Andres with the free LinkedIn course, of course. And that's the link. All right, guys, here we go. 9 tactics. 9 tactics. So this is the part of the workshop where I like to talk real darn fast, because some people have me on replay, the people who are watching the replay, and they probably have it on 2 times speed. And that kind of freaks them out. Now I talk real slow. Anyhow, I like to play around with those guys. For those of you who are here live and the replay, let's say there's a lake, and in the middle of the lake, somebody's drowning. Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. Now they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Okay, so somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning, and they're surrounded by other people in little boats. My friends, if that was a job search, metaphorically, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat. Let's see if we get a right answer here. So somebody's in the middle of the lake, they're drowning, they're surrounded by other people in little boats. If that was a job search, metaphorically, who's the person drowning? What would you say? How does it feel for you? Hey, Michael, you booked a call. Man, I love this crowd. You guys are ready to talk, not mess around. Good job, man. Like, people who take action get hired fast. That's all I want to say. Okay. So Jay says it's you. I see you there, Jay. Jay thinks he's drowning, right? Any other answers? Yeah. Mimi, I got to learn how to verse that. The one that refuses help. Yeah. Hi, Yalda. I love that answer, Yalda. Good job. Right? Who's the person drowning? Right? There's a lake surrounded by other people in little boats. Metaphorically, this was a job search. Oh, Asif, the employer who receives no resumes, 0 resumes. You know what, Asif? You got the right answer. It's the employer. And the reason we know it's the employer is they put up a job description. They've told us. They've said, help, I'm drowning. The people in the boat are actually the applicants. You're in the boat. And yet some of you, even though you're safe in the boat, you feel as though you're the one drowning, and you're rowing up to those drowning employers and you're saying, help, 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 I'm drowning. Pick me, I'm the best. And the employers, and hey, Kayla T, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Kayla, right? And now the person who's drowning in the water, the employer is looking at you thinking, you know what, I need help to get out of this water, but not from that guy, right? Right? Because that person looks panicked, right? Whose hand are you going to take? You're going to take the person, the job seeker, who's like, hey, employer, you're drowning. That sounds really scary. Let's have a conversation about how we might be able to get your ass end out of the water. What's important here is not that I pull you out of the water. What's important here is you don't drown and die. And this brings us to mindset, tactic number 1. And this is really key, guys. Again, this is one of those things that if you get nothing else out of this workshop, please get this. It's not about you, it's about them. And you're not the one drowning, they are. So you can act accordingly. And instead of coming from a place of wanting to sell yourself or prove yourself or explain yourself, you can just come from a place of service. Guys, nobody wants to be sold. Selling people's weird, folks. We've gone over this historically. Buying people's worse. Nobody wants to be bought or sold. What they want is to be served. If you get your hands around this concept, this will change your job search fundamentally. Do you see how this can really help you? You see how if you master this, it would change your job search overnight, as it has for so many of our clients? So that's tactic number 1, mindset. You're going to want to have your mindset coming from a place of service. Hey, Saruba, I'm going to learn how to pronounce your name, Saruba, because you booked a call. Nice job, Saruba. We look forward to talking to you. Okay, some of you have seen the show Deadliest Catch, right? Where these big steel cages where they put a little bait and the fishermen put it on the bottom of the ocean floor trying to catch some crab. So sure enough, Charlie, the crab, comes along and Charlie talks like this. And you would think that that was Charlie's voice because he's a crab, and you'd be wrong. That's just Charlie's voice. That's what he sounds like. It's kind of annoying. So Charlie crawls into the cage. And meanwhile, his buddies join, Sally and Cheryl and, Beatrice and Bart, and they all join. But eventually there's no more bait. They eat it all. They're hungry crabs. But more and more crabs keep joining because crabs like to be with other crabs. That's how crabs roll. So finally, Charlie's like, well, this is crazy, boys. I'm out of here. And Charlie starts to crawl out of the cage. Now, here's what happens. The other crabs will pull Charlie back in. They'll even pull off one of his crab arms. They'll even do a crab murder on poor Charlie because crabs feel safer around other crabs. That's how crabs roll. And of course, the sad part is they all get brought up and they all become dinner, which brings us to tactic number 2, which is environment, right? Environment. Environment eats motivation for lunch, my friends, right? Some of you are like, oh, I'm not getting a job because I'm not motivated. Hey, Emma P, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Emma. Good job. Nice job. Let's make sure we take care of all these folks with the course, guys, right? Like, no, first of all, it's your system. And 2, it's your environment. When I say environment, I'm talking about your social environment, your intellectual environment, your energetic environment, your emotional environment, your spiritual environment, your psychological environment, right? And your physical environment too. It's all of it, right? And a lot of times when people join our program, if they can just get that dialed in, it changes everything. Now, some of us have family members that love us and they're like, can't you just settle and take half of what you were making before? Because it hurts them to see you keep getting rejected and it's painful. And they're just saying it because they love you and it's not particularly helpful. So what we're going to want to do is create an environment that serves you in your job search. People who do this, just this alone, can make all the difference. All right, guys, on to tactic number 3. It's hard to hit a blurry target, which brings us to the idea of vision. Some of you know the proverb, where there is no vision, the people perish. I would say where there is no vision, the job seekers perish. Okay, Todd, we look forward to talking to you, Todd. Nice job, right? Where there is no vision, the people perish, right? And sometimes I'll talk to people and I'll say, hey, how much money do you want to make? And I'll say, well, anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000 a year. I'm like, that's great, Gomer. What do you want to do? Well, I want to help people. Well, how do you want to help people? I don't know. I just want to help people. I mean, that's really good, and it's super effing vague, and it's not particularly helpful, right? This has to do with a thing called the reticular activating system, which is the thing where you buy a new car, you drive it off the lot, you're like, nobody's got this car. And then you see that car 5 times, right? Our brain will, Bruce Lee has this great quote. He says, be careful what you tell yourself, your body's listening, right? If I say the color red, you're all now instantly more aware of the color red just because I said it. Our brain will literally see what we tell it to look for, and it will be blind if we don't give it a clear vision, right? And so if you don't have clarity in what the world needs and how you might be able to meet those needs, there's a reason when race car drivers drive, 500 miles in a circle that they don't look at the outer wall. It's because the car will tend to go where they look, and they know if they look at the outer wall, they'll crash. So if you don't have vision, you're just going to be like one of those race car drivers driving 500 miles in a circle in your job search. I mean, that sounds really frustrating. Scott A. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Scott. Good job, Scott. Okay, so vision. This is one of the things we help people with, getting clarity around how they're going to help a world in need. And the world is in need, folks. You don't have to worry about that. The world is in such need. There's so much need out there. If you can dial in on what the world needs, job searching's easy. Okay, job searching's easy. All right, guys, I got another question for you. If I went to a hardware store and I bought this, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if anybody gets this right. If I went to a hardware store and I bought this crazy thing, what would I be buying? Let's see if anybody gets it right. Sometimes people get this right. All right, let's see. So Yalda says a drill. Okay. Victor says a drill. Nope. Nobody's got it. Ty says a drill. Ty in Orlando. Nope. Mike says a drill. Nope. Look forward to talking to you, Mike. Right? Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Lindsay says the ability to build. Lindsay in Oklahoma. Okay. Talk says, oh, okay. You know what? Talk, you got it right. Yeah, what I'm actually buying here are holes, right? I mean, this is beautiful, and I don't need this sitting around my garage. What I actually want is a hole. And so we're going to talk. Let's make sure we send Talk that LinkedIn course, guys. And actually, you know what, though, Talk? I got to disagree with you because I actually don't want a bunch of holes in my wall. What I actually want is a place to put the hook. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't even want to. Hey, Liam, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Liam T. Nice job. I don't want a bunch of hooks coming out of my walls. That sounds dangerous. Gash my arm open. What I really want is a place to hang the picture. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't even really want the picture. What I want is the feeling that I get when I look at the picture of my beautiful family that's hanging on the hook, that's in the hole that was made by the drill. And this brings us to the idea of giving them safety, right? A lot of you are just focused on yourselves, and that's a hot dumpster fire. That's never going to work. Sometimes I talk to people who maybe attended this workshop like 6 months ago, and they write me and they say, Eric, I'm making it about them. I'm like, show me. I'm like, you're kind of making it about them. And what you're doing instead is you're talking about the drill instead of the thing that keeps them up at night when they're laying in bed trying to go to sleep. If you can get to that, my friends, job searching becomes easy. And what most people are doing, first of all, they're just talking about themselves. Or if they are talking about the employer, they're talking about the drill. And one of the ways that we really help clients is no pun intended, but to help them drill down to the thing that employer really, really cares about. So that when you go into the interview, the only thing the employer is saying is that's right. And if you can hear those 2 words, you're good. Okay. Do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than like hiding your age and ATS systems? And that stuff's just nonsense. Don't do any of that, right? Because there's really only one reason that they're going to hire you. And that's, do they trust you? That's it. And we don't build trust by talking about ourselves or talking about the drill, right? Robert M. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Robert. Robert's going to show up and get his job stuff handled. Okay. So how can you make them feel seen, heard, and understood? If you can get this figured out, and a lot of clients do with our help, this is why people get hired fast when they sign up with us. All right, guys, next tactic. Let's talk about resumes. Now, folks, resumes are kind of the least good way we've come up to do this, right? The least bad way, right? And it's what everybody wants. So let's talk about paper. The last thing you're going to want to do with your resume, and look, resumes are more of an art than a science, and everybody's got an opinion. We already talked about how a good resume isn't about you, it's about them, right? But you're going to want to make your resume unique to you, right? Robert's going to want to make Robert's resume the most Robert resume. Hey, Jorge, right? Jorge's going to want to make his resume the most Jorge resume that's ever happened. Okay? Because to do otherwise is a form of professional camouflage. You're just blending into the crowd, and you're not going to want to do that, right? And what you put on your resume, how it's formatted, when you send it, where you send it, to whom you send it, what you say, it all really matters because people are going to believe what you show them more than what you tell them. And you're going to want to communicate with employers in a way they cannot ignore. For instance, look at my resume. I got hyperlinks. You got hyperlinks in your resume? I hope so. Why wouldn't you? I got logos, right? I don't have one of those crazy paragraphs that has no context at the beginning, but I've got a more Eric section. You know, one of the ways that, and I have it on here because I just swapped this out, right? I stole this from a client last year, right? That's right, Mike. Average human eye contact is 0.7 of a second, right? They're just going through looking for a reason to stop. So you're going to want to give them that. But one way to do that is at the bottom of my resume, I have 2 truths and a lie. I actually steal that from a client. Monica booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Monica. Right? 2 truths and a lie. My client got 2 interviews and 2 offers just from that. And the reason we know that, they told her. So lots to do with paper. And when I talk resume, I'm talking your cover letter, your follow-up, all of it. All right, guys, home stretch here. Homes and like hyperlinks. Yeah, we talked about. Okay, I got another question for you. Here we go, folks. If a job application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? I would humbly suggest it doesn't, which brings us to the idea of follow-up. Some of you are applying for jobs and you're like, well, hope I hear back. And it's weird that you get that accent all of a sudden. We don't know why that happens. Jay has booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Jay. Good job, Jay. Right? Now, some of you will follow up with after an interview maybe, and you're following up with the recruiter. Don't do that. Recruiters are professionally trained ninjas at keeping you away from the hiring manager. You're not going to want to do that. And by the way, you're going to want to follow up because people believe what you show them more than what you tell them. And when you do follow up, the last thing you're going to want to write is, hey, just wanted to check in. Hey, I'm really passionate, because that's all about you. What you're going to want to do instead, and what my clients do, and the reason they get hired so fast, is they make the employer feel seen, heard, and understood when they follow up. They make their follow-up not threatening, right? They make their follow-up a demonstration of what it might be like to work with them in advance. Okay. Diana R. booked a call. So you're going to want to follow up with the hiring manager, not the recruiter. And I can hear a lot of you who are like, but Eric, you dumb, don't you know? A lot of times they don't put the contact information of the hiring manager in the job description, you dodo brain. I hear you. And thank you for calling me a dodo brain. And so I have a deal for you guys. I have a free course. And for those of you who stuck around, I see who you are, right? It's called How to Contact Anybody, right? Here's how you get this course. 1, you're going to go to my LinkedIn profile. We're going to drop it in the chat right now. Thank you, Jessa. Right? You're going to go to my LinkedIn profile. You're going to connect with me or follow me. Either one will do, right? And then you're going to send me a message on LinkedIn, the single word chicken. Right? You're going to put the single word, and when you put that single word, we'll send you a link to get this free course. So you're going to, again, go to my LinkedIn, you're going to follow me, and then you're going to message me on LinkedIn, the single word, chicken. And you do that, and we'll send you this course, How to Contact Anybody, and then you won't have to worry about how to contacting anybody ever again, because you'll know how. There are ways, okay? So you're going to want to follow up, right? And some of you are like, isn't following up pushy? Nah, why chicken? Because chickens are beautiful, Lindsay in Oklahoma. Guys, if we haven't already given Lindsay in Oklahoma the free course, let's make sure we take care of Lindsay, right? I like Lindsay asking about chickens. That makes me happy, right? You're going to want to follow up, all right? Because think about it. If you were in the boat and somebody were floating face down in the water and you said, hey, buddy, are you okay? And they didn't move, you wouldn't be like, I don't want to bother them. No, man, you'd jump in the water. You'd run over there. You'd swim over there. You'd flip them over. You'd start doing mouth to mouth. And if they came to and they were like, lady, I was just snorkeling, you'd be like, my bad. Hey, Arthur B., you booked a call. Nice job. Right? And you'd be willing to offend in the name of service. That's how we want to do the job search. Right? Yeah. Follow up on LinkedIn, y'all that, and say chicken. Yeah. How often is too much? I mean, I like 3 times, Amanda. There's sort of the rule of 3, right? We see that in a lot of traditions. Follow up 3 times. Because you follow up once, maybe they're busy, they didn't hear you. Follow up twice, okay, we'll give them. But if you follow up 3 times, you don't hear from them, they're either drowning or they got. We can assume that they're going to be taken care of by the universe. Yeah. All right, guys, follow up. All right, guys, we're in the home stretch here. Let's talk about tactic number 7, networking. You ever seen the Academy Awards, right? Where some big actor wins a big prize and she gets up there, right? They play the music and she's like, I got nobody to thank. That's sort of awkward. No, it doesn't happen, right? When people do great things, they get help. They don't do it on their own. So for those of you who are like wringing your hands about, do I want to put open to work on my LinkedIn profile? I don't want to seem needy. Nah, it doesn't make you seem needy. It makes you seem strong. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. And by the way, asking for help when we do that is a gift, because the person we're asking all of a sudden knows that their help is worth something, because we wouldn't ask for help unless we truly thought their help was worth something. So it's a gift. Those of you who've helped other people, how's that feel? It feels great. So why are you being so stingy with giving people the opportunity to help you? Don't do that. And you're going to want to have a system for asking for help. A lot of you are like, well, a good number of people in my Rolodex, did he actually just say Rolodex? People in my contact list, they know I'm job searching. Well, how would they know? Or you're like, oh, well, there's only so many people in my industry that can help me. Stop doing all of that. Guys, when people sign up for this program, one of the big ways, I think one of the strongest parts of this program is the networking part. Because there's hey, Rachel, we look forward to talking to you. Good job, Rachel. Because there's a really good chance that the way you're going to find a job is through your network. It's one of the most powerful things you can do is if you can get this networking, because what you're going to want to do is filter the ocean. No one line in the water at the right depth with the right bait in the right place at the right time. I mean, good Lord. We want to filter the ocean. And then we don't have to worry about where the jobs are because we're everywhere. That's the opportunity for you, my friends. All right, guys. Let's talk about interviews. All right, guys. I'm about to bestow the most powerful interview advice in the world. Here it is, okay? Please prepare yourselves. I'm about to give you the advice. Here it is. Thank you, team. Here it is. Don't answer their questions, right? Don't answer their questions. So many people go into interviews, they're like, I hope I get the answer right. Nah, don't worry about it. Now, look, if it's a technical interview where they're asking you 1 + 1, okay, fine, say 2. And they're really only ever asking you one question in an interview. That's hard to say. In an interview, it's like not even a word. In an interview, they're only really asking you one question. And that question is this: can I trust you? Right? If we lived in that Ricky Gervais world where everybody told the truth, right? We could just go to interviews and they'd be like, hey, can I trust you? Nah, you can't trust me at all. Okay, well, thanks, man. Nice meeting you. Okay. Actually, it wasn't that nice. Okay, fine. I mean, we'd all be telling the truth, but we don't live in that world. Right. So, so they can't say, can we trust you? Because it doesn't work. So they ask questions like, tell me about a time you made a mistake, or tell me about tell me about the time you did this thing, or what's your greatest professional achievement? Logan A. booked a call. Nice job, Logan. We look forward to talking to you. Right. So instead of answering their actual question, which really isn't their question, we want to give answers and tell stories that build trust. Right. If you've been going to interviews and you get right to the end and you keep getting no's, it's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's not your skills. It's not your experience. It's just that they don't trust you, right? Some of you guys are booking calls right now. Some of you are because you trust me or you trust yourself. And some of you aren't because either you don't trust me or you don't trust yourself. And it's nothing personal, right? It's just you feel scared. And so you don't want to take action. It's fine. And that's the same reason when you're in interviews and people don't pick you, they don't take action to move you forward. They're scared. They don't have confidence that you're the person that can help their dreams come true. So and look, we can't do it every time. Not everybody's going to sign up for a call on this one, right? Because they're scared, and it's fine, right? Hey, Jessica K's not scared. She booked a call. Nice job, Jessica. We look forward to talking to you, Jessica. Right? So it's like, this is about trust more than anything else. That's how you do it. Yeah, thanks, y'all. You bet. Jessica's got you covered. Okay, guys, let's talk about offers. Final home stretcher. Let's talk about offers. 2 things when it comes to offers. One, in a job search, you don't have to worry if you want a job, right? You just don't have to worry unless and until you get an offer, right? It's sort of like you're negotiating with yourself. You don't have to worry about it. right? Instead, you can come from a place of service and a place of curiosity. Instead of looking at job boards thinking, do I want that job? You can just be like, what's possible here? And two, you don't have to worry if you're qualified for that job, because whatever you think doesn't matter. Theirs is the opinion that matters. And they're probably not even really worried about whether you're qualified. All they're really worried about is, can they trust you? You ever seen somebody get a job they're completely not qualified for? That's because the employers trusted them. You ever seen somebody who was amazingly qualified not get a job? Maybe that's been you. It's because they didn't trust you. This is all about trust. Okay. So you're going to want to come at this from a place of trust. Okay. Because, if we know, knowing is the enemy of learning. And if I go around the world, and especially if we're trying to make space shuttles fly or cure COVID, we want some people in white lab coats taking data. We want to know some stuff like scientific method. When it comes to job searching, this is not scientific. It's not objective. It's certainly not fair. We know how many isms are out there: racism, sexism, ableism, all kinds of isms. Nothing is about this is fair. And Tamika booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Tamika. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Right? So none of this is about being fair. What this is about is making them feel safe. You can do that. They'll have a conversation with you. And if they feel safe enough, they'll make you a job offer. That's what this is all about. All right, guys, you're going to want to write this down. 4 strategies, 9 tactics. This is how you get hired fast, in case you were wondering. Notice that this is likely very different from stuff you've been hearing. You got to have an ATS resume, and you got to have a executive summary, and you got to do all this other stuff that doesn't ever work. You got to follow up with the recruiter and talk about your awesomeness. Yeah, that doesn't work. At least in my experience, that doesn't work. I don't know if it's good or bad. It just doesn't work. This works. And the reason we know it works is we've got lots of examples, right? So this stuff here is not Googleable, folks. The stuff I'm offering you, like some people hear this, like some people in the career industry, they hear this and they get angry because it contradicts everything. Yeah, I know. Thanks for noticing. This works. Your stuff doesn't, right? This is not Google. If you Google career advice, you're not going to get this stuff. And some of you are okay with waiting. And what you don't realize, you're like, well, I'm going to take all this and I'll just do it on my own. Yeah, if you were going to do this on your own, you probably would have done it already. So you could spend a lot of time and energy trying to figure this out on your own, right? And I just here's what it costs you, right? If this is how much you want to make a year, this is how much it's costing you per month. That's how much it's costing you per week. And when we work with people, we get them hired in 3 months or less. We stay with them until they do get hired. That's the guarantee we offer. We choose to work with people, right? James M. booked a call. Look forward to talking to you, James. Look forward to getting you hired in 3 months or less. Right. So I got a program called Get Hired Fast. It's awesome. Right. Comes with there's one-on-one coaching, including one-on-one coaching with me personally. There's we have weekly events every day of the week led by me most of the time. So if you don't like me, you're not going to want to sign up for this. Right. We have an online course. We're really just scratching the surface here. There's a much more expanded version of everything I'm talking about here. We talk about networking. We talk about career choice. We talk about follow-up. We talk about resumes, cover letters, all the things, your LinkedIn, interviews. A lot of times people pay for this program just in our helping them negotiate the offers that they get. And often people get more than one offer in this program, and they get it within the first couple of months. Not always, but a lot of times, right? Here are some of these people. Right. Jessie was a nonprofit executive, right? She got like 2 or 3 offers in the program before she accepted one, right? We've got Robert was living overseas and he was coming to the States and didn't want a job search for 6 months, right? He wanted a job when he got here. We got him one. Wayne got a bunch of answers. Amy was somebody who kept getting right to the end, and she got to the final interview and then she got a no. John was a tech CEO. We got him squared away. Philip was an early professional. He got 2 job offers at once. You've already heard from Angel. So lots and lots and lots of examples. The question is not, does this program work really damn well? The question is, do you want to just keep doing what you've been doing and getting the same results you've been getting? Yalda, hey Yalda, you booked a call. Nice job. So guys, for those, now again, people don't make data-driven decisions. And for those of you who insist, I will oblige you. Here's the data, right? So most people in this program, they get hired in the first 3 months. Definitely the first 4 months. There's a few stragglers, right? People that take a break. Sometimes people get sick or they decide they want to start their own business or other things happen. But the vast majority of people in this program get hired in the first 3 months, 4 months at the outside. And the guarantee we offer is we stay with people until they get hired. Like we don't leave you by the side of the road. So look, my friends, you could keep doing what you've been doing on the hamster wheel, spending a lot of money, taking a lot of grief from your family, or we could just get this job thing handled. right? So for those of you who are like, I can't afford it. Look, if you're on this webinar, you can afford it, right? We have, like a lot of payment plans that involve, if you can get this thing financed, as a lot of people do, I think it boils down to like just north of $300 a month, right? And just realize how much it's costing you not to have a job right now, right? And so what a lot of people do is they just get, they just go on a payment plan, and then they just pay off the balance here in a couple of months when they get the job. So they're not paying a lot of interest and stuff. $300 a month to pay the rest when you get the job. And we place 100% of people that stick with our program. Yep, we sure do. And if not, no other reason, guys, if you're really, I find it curious that people are like, oh, I want people to pay me money, but I'm not going to pay money on myself. It's okay. It's fine. I know everybody's economic situation is different. And, like nothing else, you get a free coaching call out of this. So if you want to get some free coaching, that's great. And if we don't think we can help you, we'll tell you that. So a lot of receipts, a lot of testimonials of people having great results through this program. So again, if you haven't already booked a strategy session, please, folks, do not book a call, because I've got some people out sick this week, and like I think probably we've already used up quite a few of the scheduling slots, right? Please don't book a call and cancel. Okay, professionals don't do that, right? You want somebody to hire you because you're a professional. Like, be the change you seek, show up. That's what professionals do. So if you're going to book and cancel, like, we probably can't help you anyway. But that's not true of Ty in Orlando. Ty just signed up. We look forward to talking to you, Ty. Right? So you're going to be open to the idea of investing in yourself, and you're ready to get started. You're not messing around, right? If you want to get hired 3 months from now, come back in 3 months and get some free coaching regardless. So that's how you book a call. A lot of you already have. I recognize a lot of your names. All right, guys, we've got time for questions, and I actually don't have anything right after this, so I'm going to stay a little longer. I didn't see too many questions come through, but let's see what we're after. And by the way, guys, I just want to thank you for like sticking around when my internet went out. I don't think we lost a single person, so I really appreciate that. Because that's when you're giving a presentation to like a big group of people, and all of a sudden your internet goes out. That can be really scary. So thank you for giving me safety. I appreciate that. All right, guys, who's got a question? I didn't see too many, so we've got a few here, and Jessa and Chris, you guys are doing a great job. All right, Delandis, hopefully I'm saying your name. What's the key difference between mindset and environment? Well, mindset is the inside stuff, right? So it's how I relate to the world, and environment is the world. So I would say a real simple answer. Tactic number 1 is inside. Tactic number 2 is outside. You're going to want to do both. How's that for a concise answer? All right, what other questions do we have? I know there might not have been too many, crew. So it's okay. I know they're scrambling like, what other questions? So guys, if you haven't asked a question, sometimes a question that I'll get, people are worried about age, right? And they're like, but Eric, I've been told I got to hide my age. Look, folks, if the reason they're going to hire you is trust, the worst thing you can do is go in there and be like, I don't trust you not to discriminate against me because of my age. Right? You want to talk about something that destroys trust. It's never, look here, I'm in DC, guys, right? It's never the scandal. It's always the cover up. So like, own your age. And yeah, the world is not a fair place. There are isms. There are people that are going to ding you because they don't like your religion or your race or your ethnicity or your gender or your sexuality, or I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen and it sucks. And at the end of the day, even with isms, and isms suck. I'm not trying to like defend isms, but whatever the case, we're all human. It's just fear. I fear people different than me. I had a bad experience with somebody who was older, and I make stereotypes and, judgments. I mean, we all do it. So give them safety. That's the main thing. All right. Bella's got a question here. Thanks, guys. For interviews, how's the best way to answer? Tell me about yourself. Okay. Well, Bella, let's do it right here. Okay. I'm going to do it with you right now. So let's pretend Bella just asked me, tell me about yourself, and we're in an interview. So I would start like this. Well, Bella, I'll tell you one thing that I really love is people who stay for the full workshop. And not only that, but people who ask questions, just like you, Bella. Bella, the fact that you are here at the end of this workshop and you asked a question just tells me that you're somebody who takes your career seriously. You're not afraid to take up space. Frankly, that's the kind of person that most employers are really going to want to hire. And a curiosity that stands out is, I wonder, there's the first I said, I wonder, hey, Megan, you booked a call. Nice job, Megan. Like, I wonder how that's showing up in your job search, whether you're taking up space or not in your job search. I wonder if you booked a call, right? So Bella, that's how you answer it, except you do it in an interview. There's not one way to do it, but see, you probably didn't even remember what the question was. because I just started talking about you. What we want to do is make the employer feel seen, heard, and understood. If we do that, they'll just trust you and they won't even know why. And they won't even care about their question often. What other questions do we have, if any? Guys, I just so acknowledge you for being here. I know we're coming up against the hour. So look, my friends, the other request I'd have of you is if you found this workshop useful, we're doing it again next Tuesday, the 3rd. Like tell a friend, like tell a friend about this workshop. We do it again. You're going to get some emails from us. And so, you'll see our website and stuff, and forward it to a friend. Cause, we want to help as many people as we can. For the way we can help people the most is by them booking a call and us getting to work with them. If for whatever reason you're not wanting to do that, at least tell a friend about this. All right, I'm seeing a lot more questions here. Let's handle a couple more. I see Arnold and I see Jay. Good job. And Jay, I think you booked a call, man. We look forward to talking to you. All right, Arnold, let's see here. When aiming for multiple types of senior roles, what's the smartest way to position yourself on LinkedIn? So you're going to want to make it about them. I know I sound like a broken record, Arnold. So like a lot of times they'll have their LinkedIn subtitle. They're like, I'm somebody who does this, and me. But don't do that. What if instead you said, you're somebody who's looking for somebody who can do this and this and this and this and this, right? That's how you're going to want to position, whether it's your LinkedIn or your resume, Arnold, what you're going to want to position yourself. You're going to want to position yourself in a way where they look at your stuff and they see possibility for themselves. That's how you're going to want to position yourself across the board. All right, let's see here. We got a bunch more. We got Jay. So Jay says, I took a break for 2 months simply because I had planned, the holidays, of course. Your head down finding a job. That's great, Jay. And look, it's like this is a great time of year between about now and April. Is a great time of year to be job searching. Jobs have sort of picked up as of the last week, right? When people sort of got back from January, holidays, they got their act together. I think something like, the big snowstorms and disruptions is probably messing up a little bit of jobs this week. But this is how tactical we are, right? With our clients, like we're looking at stuff like week to week, like what are the trends? What's going on? Like you're just not doing this alone. Can you see how that would be so helpful for you? So it's great that you're taking action. You're doing something new. Jay, I'm pretty sure you booked a call with us. So way to take action. All right. We got one last question here from Jorge. Jorge, so nice to meet you. Do we have to make it about them also in the interview? Yeah, you're going to make it about them in the interview. Of course you are. And hey, Tyler, you booked a call. Nice job, Tyler. We look forward to talking to you. So again, they're really only asking one question, and that is, can I trust you? So you're just going to want to give them evidence and tell stories that gives them confidence that they can. Guys, I really acknowledge you for being here. Look, if you've been on a long job search and you're feeling discouraged about the world, please know there are bright things on the horizon for you. You figured out other things. You'll figure this out eventually. And if you just want to figure it out a lot faster, come let us help you. We helped a lot of people, like a lot of people. This doesn't have to be so hard. Really, truly. You don't have to keep struggling on your own. Job searching is hard enough. Doing it on your own is even harder. We're done, Lindsay. We look forward to talking to you. Hopefully. Take care, my friends. I'm going to play some testimonials now so you can just see some examples of people that we've helped. And I just really acknowledge you for being here. Bright things on the horizon for you, my friends. Take care of yourselves.
Hi, I'm Mason Fisk, and I live outside of Boston currently. Before I joined, ironically, my interviews were actually high, and then my applications were low. I was really looking for something that was very hands-on. I was someone who, again, I felt like I always could figure things out myself, not doing them correctly. But then once I got into the program, it was kind of the opposite. Like, yes, it was casting a wider net, but at the same time, it was being very thorough. It really is all about your network. Broaden my network, really put myself out there because I'm someone who is very keen on thinking I could do everything myself and I know what I'm doing, but sometimes you don't know everything. And that's really how the success for me came out of this program. I have a job offer starting on Monday. Again, without that guidance, I probably would have fumbled it. Again, if you're hesitant for any reason, I have to say it's worth every penny at the end of the day. Eric does know what he's doing. He's created a great program that really hits all points during the entire job application process. The courses are, very thorough, giving tips and tricks and guidance on how to negotiate and get through those stages once you have an offer. And for me personally, I was able to get 25% more than I was previously making. Again, within almost 3 months, I'm back to work. So
My name is Charlotte Jones. I got a new position and I got hired pretty fast in the last month of being with Win at Work. So I have been searching for a job for a little over 7 months, and I've been at Win at Work for just a month, for about 40 days. So I do really like the one-on-one time that I get with a coach or a career coach, counselor. And I also like that interaction and listening to the successes and the stories of how someone might be thinking about their job search, or how they might want to present themselves during interview, what may work and what hasn't worked. And I'd like to hear those stories from others, because I found that I was having some of the same experiences. And then really when it came down to getting an offer and being able to connect with Eric directly and really get that one-on-one coaching, that was truly helpful. I felt like that was a white glove service that was worth, getting involved with and connecting with Win at Work.
Hi, I am Marcia Gomes. I am, I guess you could say, a recent graduate of Get Hired Fast, because I did get hired, and pretty fast. I am currently in my second week at my new position after having gone through the Get Hired Fast, Win at Work programming and methodology. And I don't think it's exaggeration and hyperbole to say that this program absolutely was the kicker in getting me to where I am right now. So very thankful, very learned a lot, and a lot of shifting in perspective. And I think that was super instrumental in kind of changing the way I approached my job search and my job hunt, and eventually getting to where I am and landing this really cool position that I'm in now. Yeah.
Bethany Meadows. I joined Win at Work in June 30th. I'm currently working a position as a CRM project manager at a college in Miami, Florida. All the different components of the program, the network bomb, the power hours, the co-working sessions, the job coaching, put together a really good strategy, and it helped me give me an approach to be able to do job search that was more holistic in terms of being able to not only think about applying for a job and whether or not I was qualified for it, but also to thinking about my attitude about the job search itself. And so that's something that really was important for me coming out of being unemployed for a year and being laid off from a job that I've been at for about 9 years. So I had a long stretch of unemployment, did other job search programs before, some paid, some unpaid. And I found that with Win at Work, there was just a large part of it was the mentality and just changing my thinking around how I approach a job search.
Well, first, will you tell us your name?
Jeff Borker. I just want to thank all of you guys. I didn't know how fast this was going to work. And you guys have all been great. I mean, all the feedback that I've gotten from you and from Eric and from Diana, and the group as a whole is very supportive, very, very uplifting. Everyone's willing to help out. And it's just been a great experience. It's something that I won't forget. It's something that I'm going to take a lot of these concepts into my work activity. The job that I'm going into really is a dream job for me. I was just like, this is something I have to do, because 2.5 years of doing the same thing, again, nothing was working. I was getting rejections, I was getting ghosted, but I would say put any predispositions away, go into it with an open mind, do the webinar, do the introductory call, and really just do it, because it works.
I'm a big Eric Woodard fan. Eric has an infectious energy that I just feel like I benefited so much in not only my career search, but in my life, just having a few one-on-ones with Eric, having weekly groups, being part of the Facebook group. I just can't say enough good things about him as a human being, as a career coach. The things I learned from his workshop that helped my cover letter, that helped my resume, I am eternally grateful. And if you are on the fence of signing up for one of Eric's workshops, I would absolutely recommend doing it. So that's my 2 cents.